Welcome to New Orleans inside the Superdome. Week 8 of the NFL season. The Seahawks against the Saints. And hello to everybody. Justin Kutcher alongside Charles Davis and Chris Spielman. Guys, offense versus defense in this one. Let's talk offense. The Saints, they're really good here at home.
Aren't they? Are they ever? And to your point, they average over 500 yards per game at home. And of course, they're driven by Drew Brees. He's just transcendent at the quarterback position here, and he's going to be able to create an up-tempo offense today and go as fast as possible because Seattle played a lot of plays against Arizona, 95 to be exact. So he's going to try and maneuver them, tire them out, and keep them going on the field, Chris.
Well, they're a great defense, the Seahawks, and here's why, in my opinion. They have great players at all three levels, D-line, linebacker, and the secondary. They hold each other accountable. But the other thing they do better than anybody else, there are 11 guys playing as one, and that's what makes Seattle's defense so special.
And Seattle has played so well defensively on the road. The last 8 games, 66 points allowed on the road. Pete Carroll, the head coach for the Seahawks, 4-1-1 on the season in the NFC West. Sean Payton for the New Orleans Saints, 2-4 so far this season. Seattle won the toss. They deferred. New Orleans will receive. Stephen Hauschka will kick off here for Seattle. And back deep, Tommy Lee Lewis. A touchback. And here comes Drew Brees. Mr. Everything here for the Saints. Last week, his 100th career 300-yard game, an NFL record, a 9-time Pro Bowler. And he gets this offense going.
And I'm eager to see at what tempo they play, Chris, because they do try and get in and out of the huddle quickly, play at a fast pace. I want to see if they up that tempo today to try and test the recovery of Seattle's defense after last week.
On first down, Brees goes through a progression. And he's able to find his tight end, Kobe Fleener. And let's take a look at the offense for New Orleans under offensive coordinator Pete Carmichael.
And Brandon Cooks is a guy to keep your eye on, number 10. They'll use him at a variety of spots as a receiver and also hide him in the backfield to create some matchup problems downfield when he runs out in routes.
On second down, the handoff to Mark Ingram, and Ingram picks up 2 yards. Tackled by Bobby Wagner. Let's take a look at the defense for Seattle under Chris Richard.
Well, I love Frank Clark. He was a great player in college, playing defensive end today, and will take some reps from Michael Bennett, who's out. But Frank Clark can make things happen and be a disruptor inside and out.
3rd and 4 coming up here for New Orleans. Brees to the sideline, completes the pass to Michael Thomas for the first down. Michael Thomas, the rookie out of Ohio State, has been fantastic for New Orleans so far this year.
Well, if you want to prove yourself, go against the best, like a guy like Richard Sherman. And one thing about Michael Thomas is he has great strength. It's that little push-off right there, and the wherewithal to come back to the football, understanding that Sherman has the ability to break up on the football and knock it away. Michael Thomas playing like a veteran on that route.
37th catch this year. Those are the numbers coming into this game for Thomas. Ingram runs into his own man, bounces backwards, and has to dive forward, able to get a yard.
Chris, he ran into his own man because of what Cliff Averill, number 56, did on the defensive front. Watch him take the offensive lineman back into the backfield and blow up this play. Look at that. That's Zach Streep, number 64.
Well, here's the thing. See, he ended up on his back, but he won the initial battle. It's leverage. Low man wins, hands in win. He had both those going from allowed to create the penetration, forcing Ingram to run that camel hump. You run the camel hump, that's not good because you're not running north and south.
2nd down and 9. They fake the toss to Ingram, and a pass incomplete. The intended receiver was Willie Snead. The last 4 weeks, for New Orleans. The opening drives have resulted in a touchdown. The last 4 games, that's a team record, but Seattle, they have been unreal on the opening drives.
Yeah, there's just 6 points allowed, and to me, early now on this series of downs, first and second down, when they bounced Ingram backwards on the first play, caused the incompletion, Seattle has the advantage now on 3rd and long.
3rd and 9. New Orleans converted on 3rd down earlier. Breeze in the pocket, gets rid of it, incomplete. Sherman on the coverage on Willie Snead.
And one of the things we talk about what makes the defense stand out and why Seattle's so good, especially in the secondary. First of all, it starts with pressure. Drew Brees does have time to step up into the pocket, so the protection is actually pretty solid against this 5-man pressure. But even if that ball is complete, watch Richard Sherman. If Snead makes his catch, it will not matter. He'll be short because of their ability to close on the football and eliminate rack yards, run after catch.
Thomas Morstead with a punt. Tyler Lockett on the return. Lockett makes one man miss up the middle, and Lockett gets back up to the 29-yard line. 11-yard return. Let's check in with a 4th member of our team for the first time, Holly Saunders.
Thank you very much, Justin. Well, Pete Carroll acknowledged that the biggest opponent right now for the Seahawks is their health. We expected Michael Bennett not to play today. We learned earlier this morning that his knee injury actually requires surgery, so expect for him to be sidelined 2 to 3 weeks after this. Also, safety Cam Chancellor still nursing that groin injury. He will not play either. And Russell Wilson, let's be honest, he's really been banged up since week 1, ankle and knee injuries. You can add a right pectoral injury actually to that list. Talked to him pre-kick. He looks extremely smooth, and he said he's feeling terrific, guys.
Well, Russell Wilson on 1st down hands off to Christine Michael. Gets back to the line of scrimmage, tackled by Cameron Jordan. Russell Wilson 7-1 against the NFC South. But Russell Wilson, his numbers this year, because of all the injuries, Charles, he's had to be more of a pocket passer than that dual threat that he's been over the course of his career.
And he's confident about that because he did it so well at the end of last year. But that threat of him running the football, James Laurinaitis talked to Chris and I in pregame and said, boy, we like him a lot better when he's in the pocket than when he's mobile.
The high throw is hauled in by Jermaine Kearse, and Kearse picks up 10 for the 1st down. The offense for this Seattle team under offensive coordinator Darrell Bevell.
You see Tukuafu in there. They want to go 2 running backs in there, get him as a lead blocker. But the other thing we'll see with this offense is how do you protect an immobile quarterback? Quick throws, just like we saw that last play. That helps Russell Wilson avoid any type of contact.
The handoff to Michael. He gets hit at the line. Kenny Vaccaro stepping up in the safety position as we take a look at the defense for New Orleans under Dennis Allen. And what do you know but Kenny Vaccaro highlighted?
He's going to be a guy who's a safety who can drop in the box and play like a linebacker. But watch him today. He may have to cover his former teammate, Jimmy Graham, number 88 in white on offense. Remember when he was in New Orleans, he was a game wrecker. Vaccaro may have to do double duty today. Play linebacker and play safety and try and cover Graham.
2nd down and 9 here for Seattle. It's Michael again, and a flag comes in. A couple of flags come flying in. Our referee today is Ed Hockley.
You know, just watching, we saw a picture of Dennis Allen previously, and to be honest with you, the Saints defense has been awful at the standard that they set for themselves and that Dennis Allen and Sean Payton set for themselves. Right now, they're starting out good.
Personal foul, clipping, offense, number 74. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Repeat 2nd down.
But they're not consistent. And so if you're good 2 quarters and bad 2 quarters, you're not going to win or play well defensively. They're looking to put 4 quarters together. He felt pretty confident on Friday when we sat down and talked with him.
It's been about a 4-year run of bad defense here in New Orleans. They're trying to correct. That's Dennis Allen there, the defensive coordinator. The penalty was on George Fant, number 74, starting at left tackle in place of the injured Bradley Sowell today. George Fant, his first start ever in the NFL, a college basketball player at Western Kentucky. You see it right there, his first start since junior high on the football field.
That's unbelievable. You know, last start, 7th, 8th grade, no big deal. Russell Wilson flips it out to Michael. gets 2 yards. Donnell Ellerby playing in his first game of the season for the Saints with a tackle.
And guys, I think we just saw there an example of what Holly was talking about, the injuries of Russell Wilson, not able to escape and extend the play longer. Because normally he'd exit out of that type of traffic and try and keep the play alive. Instead, he had to stay in the pocket and flip it forward, and they didn't get much out of it.
3rd and 22. They're making some noise here in New Orleans. Wilson gets rid of it quickly to C.J. Procise. And Procise got some positive yards, but gets shoved out of bounds at around the 41-42-yard line by Greg Robertson.
Common sense defense, and I love this because it's just playing smart. Look, it's 3rd and 22. Look at the coverage. That's playing smart. You're not worried about any type of underneath stuff. You're not worried about anything intermediate. Keep everything in front of you, then you rally to force the punt. That's a I don't even know what to call that defense. I'm just going to call it smart defense.
Smart defense or guarding the sticks,
yep.
Right? Guard that first down line. Nothing behind you to get it.
John Ryan to punt. Tommy Lee Lewis lets it bounce, and this will be down inside the 5.
Big mistake.
So, yeah.
Catch the football.
You need to address him really quick when he gets to the sidelines.
A mistake there. Time for a game break. Not a mistake. Let's check in with Carissa Thompson.
Thanks, Justin. Arizona at Carolina. Rematch of last year's NFC Championship game. First drive, not a good start for Carson Palmer. Fumbles the ball. This one's returned 46 yards for a touchdown. Thomas Davis on that one. Panthers' 3rd defensive touchdown this season. Panthers lead 7-0. Justin, Charles, Chris, and Holly.
Well, it's good to see Thomas Davis. His hamstring is healed up. Able to pick up that loose ball and carry it into the end zone. He's been playing hurt for much of this season.
Drew Brees will take over now from his own 4-yard line after that 54-yard punt by John Ryan.
You got to catch the football, don't you, Chris, as
Absolutely.
a punt returner? I mean, look at the yardage he just gave up. You saw him, Justin. He was probably outside the 10-yard line. Catch the football, even if you have to fair catch a step out of bounds. He gave up big-time yardage there.
Well, this game has always been and always will be. You'll never read it on a stat sheet or fantasy football league stuff. Hidden yards. Where are you saving yards? We know that this game comes down to inches. Just ask the Seahawks on the goal line stop last week. And it's about 5 or 6 plays. And it's about being intelligent and understanding where you are in the field.
The officials are getting together right now.
So you got coached by the same people I did, didn't you? They said the hidden yardage, saving yards, gaining yards.
You know what Hockey Lee's talking about right now? His arm workout he did this morning on game day. Because I want to be in on that conversation.
Your arm workout.
Yeah. What are you saying today? Today was biceps and back, you know?
Illegal touch by the kicking team, number 23. 23 went out of bounds. He came back in and was the first to touch inside the 20-yard line. By rule, that creates a touchback. It's therefore the ball is placed on the 20-yard line, first down.
Wow. Happiest man here right now is Tommy Lee Lewis.
Yep.
Okay, and right there, that's where he went out of bounds, because you can't run out of bounds to avoid blockers and then try and come back in and reestablish. And that's where the penalty came into play.
That's a mental error.
It is. It's well officiated, too, because they didn't force him over the sideline. He ran there to avoid the blockers and then try to reestablish.
So now it's 1st and 10 from the 20 for Drew Brees. Throws towards the sideline, completes the pass to Michael Thomas. And Thomas has a first down as he gets 13. Drew Brees, highest all-time completion percentage for his career. Over 63,000 passing yards, 3rd all-time, past Dan Marino earlier this year. And 3rd all-time in career passing touchdowns with 445.
Well, he's finding a little comfort zone in Michael Thomas and really giving Sherman a little bit of problems, because Sherman, right after that play, turned to the official and gave him the big push-off signal. Strength of Michael Thomas.
6'3", 210 pounds is Thomas. The handoff to Ingram. Ingram fumbles the ball, loses it. Picked up by Earl Thomas to the end zone. Touchdown. Earl Thomas got the loose ball and ran it in 33 yards for the touchdown for Seattle.
All right, Mr. Spielman, What happened near the end of last week's game in Kansas City for New Orleans and Mark Ingram?
Yeah, lack of ball security, #1 priority.
Ball came free. We'll see how this is officiated at the end of it, but it's the second time. And what has Seattle been talking about, guys? Creating more turnovers, more takeaways. It's a defense that feeds off of these. Let's take a look as we look into the pile. There's Ingram right there in the middle. And there's a ball popping free. And look at Earl Thomas on the spot, catches it on the fly. And then look at the guys rally and go and block. Right. Look at KJ Wright right out in front
After
of
the
him.
touchdown, unsportsmanlike conduct by the offense, number 23. That 15-yard penalty will be enforced on the kickoff. The touchdown counts.
Justin, real quick coaching point, because this is what Seattle does so well. If the ball carrier is secure, the second and third man come in and strip the football. They don't worry about getting a knockout hit. They're coached to take the ball away. Well executed by that Hawk defense.
Now Hauschka on for the extra point. (7-0) Seattle off the turnover. The fumble. Thomas with a 33-yard return for the touchdown. The 5-time Pro Bowler.
Here's my point, Justin and Charles. Watch, Ingram will be initially stopped right here. And now, the second, third, fourth guys, how many guys come and rally to the football? They start stripping that ball.
And who did the pop from the back? Was it, I see Deshaun Shedd in there. There were a number of guys. But as you talked about, Chris, once he secured it, someone came in with the pop from the back. That peanut punch from our colleague Peanut Tillman. Earl Thomas, and that's the penalty right there. Earl Thomas hugging the official.
Penalty for affection.
You know, in the movie Forget Paris, Billy Crystal played the referee,
yes,
right? Remember?
Yes, I do remember.
Right, and Reggie Miller hits a 3 in the movie and high fives him on the way back, and he laughed and smiled about it. This is not a movie.
Seattle has already been penalized 3 times for 30 yards, but they lead right now 7-0.
You go home sometimes, you give a hug, you get the flag thrown on you. You get a personal foul, 15 yards. You got to keep that distance.
You got to be careful. You might get the Heisman from your wife. Might say not now.
But to help a struggling offense, I mean, that's what
you do.
And, you know, these guys feed off that. And if you're Pete Carroll, you look at this and you say, hey, I know where our strength is. I know where we're hurting. I know we have injuries. I know the loss of Marshawn Lynch. I get all that. But that's not an excuse for the defense. And the defense accepts that responsibility and wears it like a badge of honor.
And they cherish it. And essentially what they just did, guys, they stole a possession is what they did.
And Hauschka having a kickoff from the 20. A little miscommunication on the kickoff, and it's covered by Travaris Cadet. Mistakes early on here for the Saints. Earl Thomas, he told us when he's in rhythm, that's when he's having the most fun. So he finds a Seahawks fan in the stands, gives him the ball, and by the way, that fan wearing an Earl Thomas shirt. And obviously, he then went and hugged the official, so he's just having fun out there.
And you did notice the teammates giving Mark Ingram a little pat. All right, let's stay with it. Long way to go. Trying to pick him up on the sideline.
Hightower now in at tailback. And Hightower gets hit in the backfield. KJ Wright got the penetration, a loss of 3 on the play.
Guys, we came into this game wondering about the Seahawks defense and their recovery from the number of plays that they played in the last ball game. I don't see any effect right now. They are quicker to the football than New Orleans earlier in this game.
It's easy to be quick to the ball if nobody touches you on your way to the backfield.
What do you say, an unblocked guy should be a good player?
Mental error.
2nd and 13, empty backfield here for New Orleans. Over the middle. The pass is complete to Kobe Fleener.
And we see the number of plays guys played the previous week. Kelsey McCray, the safety, Earl Thomas, Richard Sherman, Deshaun Shedd, Bobby Wagner, KJ Wright. And those numbers actually go up when you figure in special teams. A good number of those guys on the screen there do play special teams for Seattle. They ended up playing over 100 snaps in the desert.
On 3rd and 4. Breeze under pressure. Flag comes flying in, and Breeze goes down. Frank Clark with the sack and the dance.
Well, and this is his 5.5 sacks on the year, and Frank Clark obviously missed Michael Bennett.
Holding
but Frank Clark,
offense number 64. The penalty is declined. Brings up 4th down.
at 260 pounds, is a football player. He's not like a big, overpowering figure, but he understands leverage, and he understands effort, and he understands pursuit. And this, look at the rip, and keep fighting through the double team. That's a 260-pound guy, understanding where that quarterback is and spinning back into him.
Orsted gets the punt off. Lockett's got some room for a return from the 32. And he doesn't get much. Gets out the 33, a 48-yard return.
Look, well, guys, one of the things that New Orleans prides itself on, Justin, you set it up early. They score quickly in games. Last 4 games, they scored on their first possession. Today, the team that's setting the fast pace has been Seattle, and they've done it from the defensive side.
And that's what they're known for. They're known for their defense.
And on offense now, since they've stolen a possession and gotten points, George Fant, we talked about him early, playing left tackle for Bradley Sowell. Let's see how he holds up, both in the run and pass game, his first start since junior high.
Kristen Michael in the backfield. Wilson in the shotgun. On 1st down. Wilson, pump fake. Now he's in trouble. He goes down. Sacked by Paul Kruger.
It's not going to be a big deal to a lot of people, but when you talk to players like James Laurinaitis and say his #1 move was the spin out. Kruger's right here on the pass rush, working on the pulling tackle, but not getting exposed. To see that spin out is just not as sharp or as quick as it normally is. And so the Saints were certainly aware that if Russell Wilson wants to escape, you know where he's got to escape? Right up the middle, because he does not have that mobility yet to spin out and get to the edges.
A loss of 11 on the sack, just the 10th sack of the year for the Saints defense. They entered last in the league. The pass to Tyler Lockett, and Lockett is met there right away by Ken Crawley. He gets 9 yards back.
And guys, if I'm New Orleans secondary, and I'm sure Dennis Allen has talked to his troops about this, I'm not giving much cushion to the Seattle wide receivers today, because the ball's got to get out quickly for Russell Wilson to have any type of rhythm on offense.
Yeah.
And you're not worried about him holding it as long. I don't give him much cushion, and I'm playing for all the short routes.
I'll make a point off of that after this play.
C.J. Procise in on 3rd down for Seattle.
Fant right there. There you go.
Yep.
False start offense. Number 74. 5-yard penalty for 3rd down.
The reason I marked him, because we knew in this building that there's noise. And the biggest problem that a young player has is to play against noise like that, especially after you've had a little bit of a shaky start to start with. You already had the clipping penalty. The last thing you want to do is not make mistakes, so you do get a little jumpy, and that noise can be bothersome for a young offensive tackle.
And he's working against a veteran over the top of him, Paul Kruger, who knows plenty of tricks of the trade to try and keep you off balance.
On 3rd and 16, Wilson over the middle, slings it in, completes the pass to Jimmy Graham, the former Saint, for 13, but that's shy of the 1st down marker. Jimmy Graham played 5 years here in New Orleans, was setting records for the Saints before he got traded to Seattle, a move that surprised many. And he's making his return here. Now a punt coming up for John Ryan, with Tommy Lee Lewis back at the 10-yard line. Nearly blocked. And now a fair catch is signaled and made at the 13-yard line. A 46-yard punt. Michael Maudie almost got a piece of it.
He's played special teams the way his father, Rich Maudie, played special teams for New Orleans. Introduced Rich early in the pregame as one of the alums here. But he and his father have both blocked kicks here and scored touchdowns in the dome.
How about that reaction? He just saw how close he was by watching the video board, and that was his reaction. That was great.
Well, he's trying to get one up on Dad.
The defense for the Saints doing its job here. Tim Hightower in the backfield. Hightower gets the carry, makes a sharp cut. And he gets up to the 18, picks up 6, and let's go back to LA and check in with Carissa Thompson.
Thanks, Justin. We head to London just over 2 minutes to go. Redskins looking to win in OT. Dustin Hopkins, now he makes the first attempt, but he gets iced by Marvin Lewis, and he attempts the 46-yard field goal and misses wide left. All tied up. Redskins just got the ball off a turnover with a minute left. Justin.
Could we have our second tie in a week? Of course, Seattle knows what that feels like as they tied Arizona Sunday night.
An extra period of football, extra plays, extra wear and tear on those teams.
Hand off again to Hightower, Bobby Wagner. Coming into this game, since 2013, #1 offense against the #1 defense. Saints with the offense, the Seahawks with the defense. And talking with Drew Brees, talking with the Seahawks, you can see the respect that they had for each other and the challenge that each other posed for one another.
All you have to do is turn on the film.
Brees completes the pass to Snead, and Snead makes the move to pick up the first down.
And that's key, the end of the play. Making them miss on the tackles. You'll see the bunch formation here to try and keep them out of that press coverage. See Richard Sherman tell him who he's got? Okay, Earl, you've got him, but look at that move there by Willie Snead. A little inside move, shakes off Earl Thomas, and picks up the first down.
And because of that bunch, Thomas had to line off 8 yards, so he didn't get picked, and that's why he had room to make the catch for the first down.
Brees throws high. Cooks goes high to get it. Brandon Cooks at 5'10". He can elevate. Gets 14 yards on that one.
Charles, you probably played with wide receivers that were 6'4". Well, there's a 5'10" guy that plays at 6'4". Watch your vert. Man, look at that vertical.
At the highest point and not worried about what's going to happen on the back end of the catch, is he? All he's worried about is securing the catch. He knows the hit is coming, and he pulls it in and possesses it all the way through.
Quick pass on the slant, complete to Thomas.
Watch the shake. The shake after he catches the ball, because he's going to make 3 guys throw a no-hitter. This is really something here. Now watch Michael Thomas work on the slant, working on shed. Now watch this little move right here. Oop. 3 guys and just enough. And again, hidden yards. Instead of a 2nd and 5, you have a 2nd and 1. And when you have a 2nd and 1, you have a downfield shot. Now comes into play for the Saints.
Really wasn't a no-hitter though, partner, because the DBs end up hitting each other.
Yeah, that's true.
Got the wrong guy.
On 2nd down and 1, Brees with time, taking a shot down the field for Cooks. Incomplete. Thomas looked like he got a piece of it.
They had it set up, didn't they? They had everything they wanted. But watch the end of the play, and this is what Seattle's defensive backs do as well as I've seen in football. They don't panic at the end of route. See Earl Thomas, he locates the ball, sees Cooks, and plays through the ball and through his hands at the end of the route. Did you see that? A lot of DBs in that position panic at the end. Oh boy, what do I do? What do I do? Not in this case. They stayed patient, they stayed under control, and knocked it away.
On 3rd and 1, it's Hightower up the middle. He's got the first down. So guys, Tim Hightower has been in the backfield ever since that fumble from Mark Ingram. And on this drive, the Saints are moving the ball against this vaunted Seattle defense. So far, the only score is off a fumble. Earl Thomas with the return. It's 7-0 Seattle over New Orleans at the end of 1. Cam Chancellor out yet again for the Seahawks. Inactive with the groin, missing his 3rd straight game, the 4-time Pro Bowler. 7-0 Seattle leading New Orleans as we start the 2nd quarter. 1st and 10 for New Orleans. And they hand off to Hightower, and Hightower is really hitting that hole hard, and Tim Hightower getting the carries here ever since that fumble by Ingram, which led to the touchdown, the fumble return for the Seahawks.
So let me tell you what goes through a coach's mind in that type of situation. And it's this simple. There's a lack of trust. That doesn't mean he's not a great player. He's not going to get back in the game. But right now, there's a lack of trust. And so if you go with Hightower, Hightower sees this as his opportunity to catch that man's attention.
And it's a lack of trust because it's 2 straight weeks. Kansas City last week and now this one.
On 2nd and 6, Breeze comes near side, completes the pass to Brandon Cooks. He moves the chains, picks up 8.
We talked about him at the top of the game. Brandon Cooks is going to come from a variety of angles at the Seattle defense. They'll keep him in motion, keep him on the move. They'll run him out of the slot. He'll line up in the backfield at some point today. Just keep him in a lot of different places and try and find ways to get the ball in his hands. He's a very mature young man, been training to be a pro since he was a kid.
Drew Brees, 8 for 11, 72 yards. Hightower, a big hole. Tim Hightower, the 6-year player out of Richmond, having a good drive.
175, Andrews Pete right here, the offensive guard. Where do these holes come from? When you're able to get that kind of double team and create that much space and push a guy to the sidelines, that's easy. Now, Andrews Pete is a people mover. He's a big man that can move, and he gets that kind of leverage and that weight behind him. Big holes open up.
Harris Cadet in, splits out, Breeze. The pass complete to the tight end. That is to Fleener, and let's check in with Carissa back in LA.
Thanks, Justin. So here's how this one ended in London. You had Dustin Hopkins missing that 34-yard field goal with 2 minutes left in OT. The Redskins get the ball back, have one last shot at it. Kirk Cousins, well, his Hail Mary attempt fails. The first back-to-back tie since 1997. Seattle fans know that one from last week.
Can't wait to see the tiebreakers at the end of the year, huh?
Amazing. 12th play of the drive. Hightower. Up the middle, stutter steps for a couple yards.
You know, both of these teams have had trouble running the ball this year. So Seattle's answer this week was what, Chris? Signing back Will Tukuafu to be the lead fullback and try and create some space, right? For New Orleans, you know they do a lot? They bring in extra offensive linemen. Those jumbo packages. Senio Kelemete, number 65, is serving that role. And Tim Hightower is a bruising inside the tackles runner. And so far in this drive, that's working well for them.
2nd down and 7. Breeze has it batted down. Cliff Averill got the big paw up.
Is that an example of just good fundamental football?
It's an example of understanding recognition and being smart. And Cliff Averill on a 3-step drop, instead of continuing his pass rush, will pull off his pass rush right there. See that little separation? Then get up. Now what you want to do if you're Armstead is you want to dive at his kneecaps. That forces the natural human reaction to bring your hands down to create the throwing line.
14th play of the drive here for the Saints. They've gone 77 yards so far. Breeze completes the pass right by that 1st down marker. Going to be very close to Brandon Coleman. But he's going to be shy of that 1st down marker. 4th down coming up as we welcome those of you who just watched that Washington-Cincinnati game from London.
And I think Brandon Coleman was so concerned with securing the catch, he forgot where he was on the field. See that? He had the catch, secure it, and make sure you get to the 1st down sticks.
All I know, if I'm 6'6", 220 plus pounds, I'm not going to fall down without somebody contacting me when I'm 3 yards from the goal line. You don't need to do that. And that's just being a young player, but that's not being a smart player.
Secured the catch, but the only thing he would be able to tell Sean Payton and crew is, I thought I was at the 1st down yardage and I wanted to make sure I caught it, but he was short. You've got to know that you're there.
And Sean Payton and crew should say, turn around and run the football through the goal. That's what you should do.
You're 6'6", 220. Use it, please.
Oh my gosh.
So that's 2 mental mistakes that we've seen thus far by Saints players. That's one right there by Coleman, and we saw Tommy Lee Lewis before not making the catch on a fair catch, but they got away with it.
And I think we should stay alert here with New Orleans. That is Sean Payton on the sidelines, right? They've already lost a possession because of the fumble return by Earl Thomas. I would make sure that they kick this ball as opposed to faking it if I'm Seattle.
A 22-yard field goal attempt for Will Lutz. He does kick it, and it is good. That long drive results in points, but it's just 3 points. The Seahawks lead the Saints 7-3.
A's Game on Fox is sponsored by Nabisco's 115th anniversary celebration, by Papa John's, the official pizza sponsor of the NFL, and by PlayStation.
It has been beautiful weather here in New Orleans this weekend, Halloween weekend. Justin Kutcher alongside Charles Davis, Chris Spielman up here in the booth, Holly Saunders down on the field, Mike Pereira with us from LA. Will Lutz kicking off, Tyler Lockett in the end zone. And Seattle will start at the 25 when we come back with Russell Wilson under center, up 7-3. New Orleans has had the ball more than Seattle, much like it was the case for Seattle's defense last week against Arizona, but the Seahawks lead right now 7-3 on first down. Wilson leaves it off for Lockett, getting him into some space, and Tyler Lockett gets pushed out by Nate Stupar. The story offensively on that line is the youngster George Fant.
I think George has been pretty decent. Now he's had a couple of penalties right here, and Russell got rid of the football. That could have been ugly, but this is leadership right there. When you see Justin Britt not getting on the guy, just telling him, hey, concentrate, focus, we're with you. We only see quarterbacks do that. Rarely do we see an offensive lineman correct another offensive lineman.
On 2nd and 3, nice move by Paul Richardson, gets to the outside, and Richardson down to the 45 of New Orleans, gets 23.
Earlier, Chris, you were talking about Michael Thomas and his footwork. Watch Richardson inside and then able to go out to make the miss. Remember that footwork that Michael Thomas had on an inside slant?
Yeah, that's
Paul Richardson does the same thing. Gets the stutter. Ken Crawley, the rookie cornerback out of Colorado, bites too hard inside, and Richardson beats him back towards the sideline.
Plus, he's playing 12 yards off the line of scrimmage, which he doesn't need to do in that type of situation.
By the way, guys, Russell Wilson, this is a lateral. Tanner McAvoy with a pass coming back. Precise inside the 5. Taken down at the 2, a 43-yard pass by Tanner McAvoy.
Okay, guys, here's who you need to keep an eye on, all right? Here's Precise. Here's McAvoy. The ball's going to go there first, and watch Precise get out of the backfield. And Tanner McAvoy did what at Wisconsin, Chris Spielman?
He was wide receiver. He was a safety. And Charles, yes, he started quarterbacks in games for the Badgers. And you can see right there, perfectly thrown ball to C.J. Precise, who was only a running back at Notre Dame, but also played wide receiver at Notre Dame. That's Pete Carroll and those guys, Schneider, drafting talent.
On 1st and goal, the handoff is to Michael, who gets it in for the touchdown. Christine Michael with his 5th rushing touchdown of the year.
Got him off the couch. They brought him in on Wednesday and say, hey, we need a lead blocker. Watch Tuka Afu right here, number 46, seal the deal. Watch him be patient. See, lead blockers also have to be patient. See him turn his shoulders right there and pick off the linebacker coming inside. Right there, bringing him back was a payoff right there as he knocked Stupar out of the hole.
And a really nice block by German Affetti, number 76. And one other thing, you saw Christine Michael make some people miss as he got into the end zone. They've been challenged by their running backs coach Sherman Smith as backs to break more tackles and gain more yardage after contact.
Auschka's extra point is good. It was a 43-yard lateral and pass by McAvoy. That set up the touchdown run for Christine Michael. It's 14-3 Seattle over New Orleans.
Sponsored by the all-new 2017 Ford Super Duty. This is the next level.
Small screen, stadium-sized content. Watch live, local Sunday games right on your smartphone with NFL Mobile. 14-3.
Hope they enjoyed that lateral and pass on the mobile. I got people moving around.
It's nice when you have versatility on your offense.
Listen, they've got hybrid players on offense as well as they do on defense.
Tommy Lee Lewis will take the touchback. Procise, wide receiver, running back in Notre Dame, showing off the wide receiver skills. That was a 43-yard completion. You know, it's funny, guys. We talked about New Orleans having that offense, quick strike. It's Seattle with a quick strike offense. 4 plays, 75 yards. That led to a touchdown.
And see McAvoy right there blocked the kick last week. And hey, you know the rule, the more you can do, the better chance you got to stay in. You know what I mean, right, Justin?
Of course. Daniel Lasco in at tailback. Play action. And the pass to Snead. And Snead up the middle to the 38, gets the first down. Kelsey McCray with the tackle, 13-yard pickup for Willie Snead.
They're going to move the tempo up a little bit, guys.
Like
now 14-3. They're going to try and shake themselves up a little bit here and get Seattle to stay in the defenses that they're in and try and run them some.
Here's Lasco, his first carry of the day. He's able to get 2 up to the 40. Richard Sherman with the tackle.
I'm a Saints fan, and I'm watching this game. Let's see. Hightower was hitting it up in there and getting big gains. And he had a rhythm, and he was rolling. He's the hot horse. So let's take him out of the game. Why? Why is he not still in?
And remember, Tim Hightower had to battle back from about 3 years worth of knee injuries and rehab. You think he wants to come out of a game? No. He wants to take every carry he can get.
You got to ride the hot horse.
Breeze pressured, gets rid of it to Snead. Snead using that stiff arm. Let's see where they mark him out. He's got the first down. Jeremy Lane finally brings him down, a pickup of 8.
Watch my man Lasco, though. He'll say, I'll show you, Chris, while I'm in the game. Watch this. He's going to get 2. He's going to get 2 off the corner. Look at that. That's beautiful. He gets 2 guys by sacrificing his body. And for a rookie to be able to do that is outstanding.
6 feet, 210 pounds, the rookie out of Cal. Now he takes the handoff, able to spin forward to get 4. 2nd down and 6 coming up here for New Orleans.
You know what we haven't seen yet really from New Orleans? Screens. They've always been a heavy screen team. And I thought today we'd see a few of those, especially try and move Seattle and run them, whether they screen it to Lasco, the running back, or they like to screen the wide receivers as well.
Toss to Lasco. Tries to cut it back inside. Bobby Wagner was there. Let's check in with Carissa Thompson back in LA.
Thanks, Justin. Arizona at Carolina. The Panthers haven't won since week 2, but they're looking like their old self today. Jonathan Stewart, 1-yard run there against a good Arizona defense. That's his 2nd today. Panthers up 21-0. Justin?
Arizona doesn't like playing in Charlotte, I can tell you that. Last year and now this game. Ooh.
Well, and Jonathan Stewart health, he's a difference maker for the Panthers. They're a whole different offense when he's in there.
And remember, Arizona played those 95 plays as well last week. They may have a little tiredness in their legs.
Tim Hightower's in on 3rd and 3. Breeze completes the pass to Snead again for the first down, up to the 39 of Seattle. Bobby Wagner with another tackle.
Well, Breeze is not going to make a mental error on a matchup mismatch. And Bobby Wagner is a great football player and a great linebacker and outstanding in coverage. But you can't have number 9 have this kind of time to throw the football, use a little shoulder shake and eyes, and have Bobby Wagner cover a wide receiver. That's impossible duty.
Hightower got hit right away by Tony McDaniel. He needs a gain on the play, 2nd and 10.
He just told us he's in a hockey league workout, arm workout routine. See, look at my bicep.
I remember when he was in Miami, and I'm watching them practice. I'm standing next to Bill Parcells, and Coach Parcells kept tugging at his waistband and saying, Tony, Tony. And Tony would look over, I got you, Coach. What he was telling him is, you have your big boy pants on Sunday, Tony? He had his big boy pants on that play, didn't he?
A timeout taken now by Seattle. With 6:04 to go here in the first half, Seattle leading New Orleans 14-3.
Well, we're inside of 2 weeks to the election. We may have a third-party candidate running right now. Because there's Richard Sherman talking with Alex Kemp, the side judge. And Chris, you made a point earlier in the game about Michael Thomas and his size and how he's using against Richard Sherman. I think he may be talking about that with Alex Kemp, trying to maybe get a call later on.
There's no question he's talking about that. I would.
On 2nd and 9. Good hands by Josh Hill. The second tight end for New Orleans gets 3, tackled by Bobby Wagner. The two-time Pro Bowler Wagner having himself another good game following up last week's game. 13 tackles last week and that blocked field goal.
He's a really good football player, and he's one of those linebackers that plays the run and pass equally well. Very instinctive and can close the gap. You just can't put him on wide receivers.
And another third down for New Orleans. They came into the game 49% on the season in picking up these situations.
And they're 4 of 7 today. Breeze taking the shots, and that's incomplete. Was looking for Cadet against KJ Wright.
But you got to take the shot because you've got the matchup, right? You've got KJ Wright with Tavares Cadet, who's a running back, and you take this opportunity. If you go back to the Super Bowl against New England, do you remember the play Rob Gronkowski ran near the end of the first half where they flipped formation and had KJ Wright in open space? I like KJ Wright as a linebacker, and he's a good cover guy, but your running back's got to find a way to beat him downfield, and that's why Breeze went there.
That was the first incomplete pass on the drive for Breeze, and now Will Lutz is on for a 53-yard attempt. He connected from 22, and now he connects from 53. It is a 14-6 ball game here in the Big Easy. Seattle on top.
Today's game is sponsored by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency.
Back here in New Orleans, 14-6. The Seahawks lead the Saints. Drew Brees looking over the plays. New Orleans, their offense has been moving the ball, but just 6 points to show for it. Will Lutz kicking off. Tyler Lockett in the end zone. He's going to return this from about 5 yards deep. Lockett, a good return, takes it out to the 32, a 37-yard return, and Will Lutz, the kicker, with the tackle. It's Halloween here in New Orleans. That could be scary. Watch out.
This game on Fox is sponsored by Bud Light. Beer with your team on it.
5:08 to go here in this first half. Russell Wilson off to the best, I guess you could say, start of his career in one aspect. 7 for 7, most completions to start an NFL game in his career. This team leads 14-6. Good starting field position, but a flag here on the first play.
False start. Fence, left guard, 5-yard penalty. First down.
All right, tonight the World Series continues with a critical Game 5 at Wrigley Field as Cleveland's on the verge of their first championship since 1948. Coverage starts after football only on Fox, or watch it live on Fox Sports Go. It's Trevor Bauer against John Lester, and it's Game 5 tonight, concluding a huge day of sports here on Fox.
So can they follow up the NBA title with Major League Baseball title? City's got to be keening with anticipation on that.
1st and 15, Russell Wilson. That one's picked off! Nate Stupar. The first interception that Russell Wilson has thrown in his last 203 attempts.
He's one of those smart, instinctive Penn State linebackers, and watch him get back into the passing lane reading the eyes. See him? He's reading, and look at him. Just break inside and goes up and gets the football. He made a similar play at Kansas City where he didn't come down with the interception, but great instincts and being in the right spot.
The next element that Russell Wilson can add to his game is what Drew Brees has, a little shoulder shake to move a linebacker. Linebackers move on the first movement, and right there, he was staring down his receiver, and Stupar just broke on the football and broke on the shoulders and eyes of the quarterback.
And why do linebackers move on the first movement? Because you got to go get it right now.
It's the only way you get there.
So now a turnover for Seattle. Snaps a streak. He had 202 consecutive without a pick, and now he throws one here, and Hightower with the carry. Tony McDaniel with a tackle, a pickup of 2. And let's see if New Orleans can take advantage of this turnover with good field position. Down 14-6, and don't forget, Seattle won the toss. They deferred, so they will get the ball to start the second half. Travis Cadet in the backfield. He motions out. Empty backfield now for Brees on second down. Brees, he's able to find Cadet. That's a 7-yard pickup. Cadet out of the backfield. He's more likely to make a reception than he is to get a carry. Coming into this game, he had 17 catches on the year versus just 2 carries. And now,
interesting call coming up here for New Orleans because they're going to show a heavy set. Big guys out there, tight end, Coleman, number 16 on the wing. But you've got a flyer outside, one-on-one.
Hightower. Flag is thrown. Hightower loses it. They're going to say he was down, but a flag did come in the backfield.
The ruling on the field, the runner would like Jack.
I think Ed Hockley might need a new battery for his microphone.
He might have taken it into the weight room with him today and wore it out. But
got some water in it.
but Chris, you made that point about Tim Hightower being in the lineup. I think they heard you and they brought him back for this series.
Illegal hands to the face by the defense. That 5-yard penalty is added to the run. First down.
This is the second time they ran this play, and watch Frank Clark trying to use his hands. Again, working on a wide receiver right there. And Snead, Hightower right there is down before the ball is out. That right knee looked like it hit the ground before it came out.
See Earl Thomas with the punch.
They're always aware.
We're talking about how they take every opportunity to go after the football.
It's John Kuhn and Willie Snead in the backfield here for New Orleans. Brees just lopped to one. They've gotten tipped. And that is incomplete. The ball was tipped by Cliff Averill. And a flag did come in the secondary.
Rarely do I miss Drew Brees making a mistake. He had Willie Snead matched up on the wheel route. I think he predetermined in his mind where he was going with that football before actually surveying the field. Rarely does he make a mistake like that because Willie Snead was open.
Before the pass was thrown, so the tip doesn't. 9. An automatic.
I feel like I'm doing a cell phone commercial right now trying to piece together what the penalty is, but I think it was against Earl Thomas.
Thomas up on coverage on Brandon Coleman, and he's grabbing him right there. And they said that happened before the tip. I think we were able to decipher that from Ed Hockley, so the tip ball doesn't matter because the penalty occurred before it. And that would have been second big play by Cliff Averill in tipping a pass.
So now it's 1st and 10 from the 11. Brees dumps it off to Kuhn.
Richard. Nice, Richard.
Richard Sherman able to stand up John Kuhn. And it doesn't matter where John Kuhn is playing. He's a crowd favorite. They start chanting Kuhn right away.
You know, Seattle preaches rugby-style tackle. There's nothing rugby about this tackle. This is Richard Sherman coming up, facing the man up, wrapping his arms, bringing his feet. No chop blocks, no doing anything, but a solid fundamental tackle on a bigger man. Look at this. That's beautiful right there, Richard Sherman. Thank you. Thank you for sending a message to the youth of America that it's okay to wrap up on tackles.
So much for just being a cover corner, right? He's a complete corner.
On 2nd and 5, it's Hightower. And Hightower up to the 3.
Maybe a little fatigue setting in on that front 7 of Seattle, because right now we're seeing a push. The black shirts are pushing the white shirts about 2 or 3 yards off the line of scrimmage. Keep attacking. Attack, attack. Hey, attack.
Follow your favorite team all season long. Go to itunes.com/NFL. 2 minutes to go here in the first half. 14-6, 3rd and 2 coming up for the Saints from the 3.
No extra offensive linemen, but a tight end in and big body receivers.
Hightower in the backfield. They give it to him. Hightower diving forward. He's short of the end zone, but it looks like he got the first down, or he's very close. He does. He has the first down.
Look at the positioning. Nice read by Hightower because he cut off the block. The blocking was going to his left, and he sees that, and then he sees the angle back to his right. Zach Streep had opened up a nice little space. If he had not been tripped up, he probably could have gotten through that and gotten to the end zone. So we look at Ataba Rubin, number 77, one of the big fellas up front for Seattle.
The Saints now 6 for 10 on 3rd down on the day, and it's 1st and goal from the 1.
And now they got the extra offensive lineman in. Looks like Tim Lolito, number 68, has come in for New Orleans.
They got Kuhn as the fullback. The handoff to Hightower. Hightower trying to push his way in. And he's short.
What are they saying, Seattle? Defend what, Charles?
And every inch of grass. If you give us an inch of grass to defend, we will do it. And that's what they did at Arizona to make that a tie game. Here they are with not much grass to defend. You talk about leverage all the time. Low man wins, and Seattle's defensive front won that one. They called him down because Hightower does fall into the end zone. But watch the official up here. He's very definite as he comes in. Watch him.
Ooh.
See that? He has made the decision that this play was stopped in his opinion. And look at his legs down on the ground behind him as he falls forward.
I think that left knee was down before he fell forward.
That's where I was going with that. I think that's why he called it down and said that's where the play ends.
So if I'm up in the box and I'm yelling down, okay, we've had 2 plays where we almost scored. Somebody please block KJ Wright, because that's twice that he came in. One saved the touchdown and snuck through again on that play. So they have to be aware of number 50 shooting the gap, because 2 plays in a row he made a play.
There is a booth review going on right now on that play. Mike Pereira is going to join us from LA. Again, this is the play with Hightower.
There's KJ Wright, as you mentioned there, Chris, making the initial contact to Talbot Rubin on the bottom.
Let's bring in Mike right now. And Mike, what you see, was there a whistle called earlier? Did they make the right call?
Yeah, I think they make the right call. We don't have a shot really down the line, but you can see that the leg is down there before he really turns. I almost thought at first it might be a progress stopped ruling, but you can see the knees on the ground. Certainly nothing I don't think that they would overturn to a touchdown, that's for sure.
I think the guys here in the booth agree with you as well. It's unanimous. In this booth, that is.
So let's see what the real booth says.
The runner did not break the plane with the ball. His knee was down.
So we got one right, which is good. Now, Drew Brees is not averse to quarterback sneaks, guys. I mean, you're right there. I don't know if you want to take the ball off the line of scrimmage at this stage. The way Seattle knifes through and gets that good leverage. Maybe you think about Brees right here trying to find a little gap and falling in there.
This is the 8th play of the drive. They started on the Seattle 37. Remember, it all started after a Nate Stupar interception of Russell Wilson. 2nd and goal from inside the 1. Hightower gets stuffed again. Ataba Rubin was there
on the goal line, and Charles talked about it, defending every inch and its penetration, and they're winning the battle. If you defend every inch of grass, they're never going to give up. And they're a tough team to score on, and I agree with you, Charles, because of their ability to penetrate. That would be the perfect time for that little sneak. Or if you want to look at it too, 2nd down was always a big time for play action, and that's always in the Saints' arsenal.
So now looking at 3rd down and goal, what are you doing right now? You thought maybe a sneak on 2nd down. What about 3rd down?
Yeah, I think now I keep in the hands of Drew Brees. I want to find a Brandon Cooks or a Willie Snead. You maybe sneak him out of the backfield. Something that gives him a chance to approach the corner.
I might
challenge about doing that again.
Yeah, I might challenge my offensive line and say, you guys, you want to establish something? You want to turn something around? You want to win the battle? Get behind Kuhn, run the Hightower, and get the touchdown.
They do such a good job of knifing and submarining does Seattle's defensive front. I might want to get to the corner against them.
On 3rd and goal, it's Brees for the quarterback keeper. Touchdown, New Orleans. Charles Davis, the new offensive coordinator, up here in the booth.
How about the vertical?
About it. The last time I saw him do that in person for me, New Orleans at Miami, circa 2009, 2010, where he went over the top and scored one of these. I think he's done it since then. But boy, did he get a nice little jump there. And I thought they did a nice job up front because they were able to get those guys down and give them a chance to go over the top.
And here's the other thing where a quarterback does have that option. If those linebackers are so deep right now, they cannot meet you at the line of scrimmage if they don't time the snap. So that was Drew Brees. We don't know what the call was, but he saw that himself and trusted his instincts because of the depth of the linebackers would not be able to knock the ball out.
Will Lutz now for the extra point. Points off turnovers. Both teams now with 7 points off turnovers. Let's check in with Kurt Menefee. What do you have coming up at the half?
Oh, wait. We got to get inside for the Visa halftime.
Hey, I'll hit you at the desk.
Coming up on the Visa halftime, Washington and Cincinnati go to extra time in London, and the Bills try to go for the season sweep against the Patriots. Nice throw, TB. It's coming up on the Visa halftime.
I guess Terry still got it.
Yeah, he does. Good throw. It's like throwing the Swan and Stallworth again.
Here in New Orleans, Halloween weekend
in Bedrock. Hey, guys, think about this half now. Seattle stole possession with Earl Thomas return for a touchdown on the fumble by Ingram. And then they had the trick play with McAvoy to Procise, and they end up scoring. But all in all, this first half has been totally controlled by New Orleans offense, and they're still down 1 point. Hard to believe, isn't it?
Yeah, they're playing a lot of plays. They ran 43 plays. Now they're on pace to run 86. And let's not forget that fatigue could be a factor after the 96 play performance last week.
Lockett again will return out of the end zone. And Lockett brings it out to the 17. Let's check in with Carissa Thompson back in LA.
Thanks, Justin. New England at Buffalo. Remember, the Pats lost to the Bills in Week 4, but they didn't have that guy. Tom Brady connecting with Rob Gronkowski on that 53-yard score. Gronk's 3rd straight game with a touchdown. New England up 21-10. Justin.
Hey, is Tom Brady ever going to age?
The robot. I'm serious. They can't be that good.
But he is committed to physical fitness, his health. Right, when you talk with him and you see him, he is a very thin-looking quarterback, but he wants to be flexible to absorb those hits better, and it's worked very well for him in his career.
Seattle, no timeouts remaining. Russell Wilson on first down over the middle to Jimmy Graham, who got hit right away by Dannell Ellerbe.
Well, we talk, why is not Jimmy Graham involved in this offense? Because the offense hasn't been involved in the first half. And that's why he's been a non-factor. And they were excited to get Ellerbe back because of his pass covering skills.
And now a timeout taken here by New Orleans, their first. Well, coming up Friday, November 11th, FIFA World Cup qualifying kicks off with the U.S. taking on Mexico. Well, in our partner's hometown, Columbus, Ohio. Coverage starts at 7 p.m. Eastern, only on FS1, or watch it live on Fox Sports Go. Chris, you're going to be at that game, I hear.
I am, and I'll be listening to my man Rob Stone, who breaks it down like nobody else, the best soccer mind in the business.
And they'll be playing at the home of the Columbus Crew, correct?
Yes. Second down and 4. Wilson, incomplete to Doug Baldwin.
That tells you about how this half is going. Is that the first time you called Wilson to Doug Baldwin? I mean, Doug Baldwin's turned into a real go-to receiver for Seattle over the last couple of seasons. The first target of the first half, and that goes back to what we've talked about, the ball control of New Orleans, running way more plays. Seattle not able to establish much rhythm offensively.
And now 3rd and 4. 31 seconds to go.
Jimmy Graham right there. Good matchup for 3rd and 4.
Wilson forced out of the pocket, throwing on the run to Baldwin, and Baldwin makes the catch.
There's a little mobility there from Russell Wilson. That time he was able to exit out. You didn't have to spin out, Chris, just able to exit out and extend the play and hit it.
Wilson stepping up, throwing, and he completes the pass to Jermaine Kearse with 5 seconds to go, up to the 44 of New Orleans. And I got to be honest, I'm both impressed and surprised by what Seattle is doing right now with no timeouts, moving the ball down the field.
Well, you should be surprised because you have the rookie corner, Zach Crowley, playing a short route. Why? Russell's going to read the corner, throw the corner. If the corner plays the short, he goes deep. The corner plays off, you throw short. As the corner, you force him to throw short.
That was a rookie not understanding situational football.
Trying to get one play out of bounds, 1 second left. The pass complete to Kearse for 6 yards. And now they give Stephen Hauschka a chance to pick up some points before the end of the half.
Hauschka in warm-ups was hitting from 58 consistently.
And that is his career long.
Slow short of that, 56. Career long is 58.
This is going to be a 56-yard attempt. The long this year is 53. Hauschka, a bobble on the handle by Ryan. Ryan has to get rid of it, throws it away, and the mistake there. So they did the job to get the opportunity. But a mishandle on the hold by John Ryan.
Snap was a little bit inside, but it looked like it was well enough for him to handle it. And he just mishandled it, and they didn't get a chance for the last shot.
That is the end of the first half. 14-13 Seattle. After the break, it's the Visa Halftime Report. Today's excitement is brought to you by the new Nissan Titan. Ingram fumbles the ball, loses it. Thomas to the end zone, touchdown. The handoff is to Michael, who gets it in for the touchdown. That one's picked off. Nate Stupar. On 3rd and goal, it's Breeze for the quarterback keeper. Touchdown, New Orleans. And that was today's excitement, brought to you by the new Nissan Titan. Back here as we get set to start the third quarter. Justin Kutcher alongside Charles Davis and Chris Spielman. And Chris, in that first half, Seattle's offense rarely on the field. How do they get going?
Well, they have to help their defense by staying on the field. Well, how do you do that? And help Russell Wilson. You've got to establish some type of game on the ground to give Russell a break and to give their defense a break.
And if I'm New Orleans, I don't change much on offense. Continue to control the ball, control the clock, and wear them down. Attrition may take place here, but if I'm on defense and I'm New Orleans, I tighten down on coverage and continue to pressure Russell Wilson. He's got to get rid of the ball quicker, so don't let him get anything deep on you.
Will Lutz to kick off to open up this third quarter. Tyler Lockett, he will take a knee, and let's check in with Holly Saunders down on the field.
Thank you very much, Justin. Had a chance to talk to Sean Payton and catch up with him. He agreed. Yes, he's very pleased. They really controlled the offense during the first half. He wants them to be a little bit better in the red zone, but overall very pleased. Also, something to note, you haven't seen Mark Ingram on the field since he fumbled early on during the first quarter. And coach says, hey, he did it last week as well. You have to take care of the ball. It's something we're stressing. So not sure if we'll see him back in the game. Also, Pete Carroll did not seem like a coach who has a one-point lead right now. He was focused, brief. All he wanted to do was get to that locker room, guys. He was pretty quiet with me and says they need to stop putting themselves in negative positions on offense.
Well, here on the first play from scrimmage in the second half, Kristen Michael picks up 8 yards on the ground, which is just what you were saying, Chris. And as we take a look at the first half stats, those rush yards, just 3 in the first half, 8 on that first play.
And that not only helps Russell Wilson, but it helps the defense that's played a lot of plays the past game and a half. Arizona in the first half of here, they had 40-plus plays in this first half.
And if they're not able to run the ball and they're throwing the quick game, that means receivers have to get yards downfield to make up for that lack of running production.
Right up the middle is Kristen Michael. He's got himself the first down. Craig Robertson with the tackle. Up past the 40 to the 41. For the Seahawks, just 19 offensive plays in the first half today. The third fewest by any team this season. Now they lead by 1, but they got 7 points because of the fumble return for a touchdown by Earl Thomas. And they had that quick strike touchdown in the first half as well. They keep it on the ground, and again, it's Michael. And he falls just shy of the 50. Donnell Ellerbe with the tackle.
So they have trips and they have tight right here. See these two tight ends? There's nothing coming back here because they don't have enough people to block. So what you have to do as a defense is slant everybody that way and start playing plays and start playing formations, especially if you get gashed. Because right now, Seattle, to me, was challenged by Pete Carroll in that locker room. Hey, we got to toughen up. And right now, they're answering that challenge.
24 yards on the ground so far on this drive. They had 3 in the entire first half, and they keep it on the ground. They keep on moving up to the 41 of New Orleans.
You mentioned them being challenged. These guys right here. Okay, are you going to line up and hit someone in front of you? And that's what they're doing. And you know what else the answer is? You know, when Russell Wilson's healthy, their running game is zone read based, which means it's sideways runs. What are we seeing here, Chris? Straight ahead stuff.
North and south.
North and south, power stuff right at them, get them to the second level quicker, and that's what they've done in the second half.
Prosise, he goes outside. CJ Prosise gets bumped out by Ellerbe. He picks up 6. That's 40 yards now on the ground on this drive.
Last week, or on the year, excuse me, the Saints defense outside the tackles have given up 5.82 yards, which is unacceptable in the National Football League. Every defense has an edge player or a contain player. That ball is forced to go inside. They are not consistent and they are not sound on protecting the edges in the run game.
Second down and 3. Prosise cutting it back. Jarris Bird with the tackle as Prosise gets 2, setting up 3rd and short.
So Charles, the great Sherman Smith, the running backs coach, he might have gotten there a little bit, huh?
Yeah, it wasn't just Pete Carroll talking about the offensive line and tight ends. I think you're right, Chris. Sherman Smith, who was a good running back for the Seattle Seahawks, he told them all week, you're getting what they're blocking for you. We need to get what's not blocked. Break tackles, make people miss, and so far in the second half, his backs have answered that challenge.
Russell Wilson rolling out. Now Wilson trying to run and dive for the first down. And he's got it.
That's guts, because he's not healthy.
He's not 100% by any stretch.
And you can see how he's moving because he's lumbering. And usually he just like prances beautifully like a dancer. Well, he's lumbering like I used to lumber right here when he tucks it and goes. And you see right there, the 33-yard line had a nice tackle.
Like, what do you mean like you used to lumber? You were like Barishnikov out there playing.
I can't believe I just hit dancer and football in the same sentence. Wow.
Kristen Mike,
you okay?
back in.
You all right? You okay?
We just lost Spielman. Wilson moving in the pocket, throws incomplete to Michael. The pressure applied by Cameron Jordan, and we spoke with Cameron Jordan. He talked about this team needs to be consistent through all 4 quarters.
He said that you can see on tape where we play really well and where we play really poorly. You can see it in every game. But how about that play with Russell Wilson? We've made the point, and I think we stand by it. He's not 100%. But you notice he's not spatted up today, both ankles wrapped. You notice he's just got the regular shoes on. He's feeling better, but he's still not completely there yet.
Michael gets hit backfield by Cameron Jordan. A loss of 3.
The perfect example of a man doing his job. The ball's going to start all the way away. He's not going to get nosy. He's going to come out and spin back and make the play. But that's how you become fundamentally sound. He's the edge player, and it's his job no matter if the ball goes away. Nothing is outside of him. Good job by Cameron Jordan firing the troops up.
He even defeated the block coming back to him first before he bounced out and made the tackle.
Now 3rd and 13, empty backfield for Seattle. Wilson dumping it out to Nick Vanette. And Vanette gets tripped up by Devontae Harris, who gets 6, so that'll bring on the field goal unit. Hauschka came on for a 56-yarder to end the first half. Never got the attempts because of the snap and the hold.
Smart play right there by Wilson. Not trying to force the first down, but playing for the field goal.
If nothing else, they took some time off the clock and continued to help their defense by giving them extra rest after the half.
A 44-yard attempt. And Hauschka's kick is good. The running game leads to some points. 3 of them. Russell Wilson. He was able to get some yards on the ground, and Cameron Jordan doing some job as well.
Today's game is sponsored by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. By Chevrolet. More 2016 J.D. Power Dependability Awards than any other brand. And by Burger King. Now get 10 chicken nuggets for $1.49 only at BK.
Here in New Orleans, our entire crew wants to send a big congratulations out to Peter Schrager and Erica Schrager on their birth of Mel Owen Schrager. Wednesday morning, 5:56 a.m. Their first child. Peter, we're all thinking of you. Congratulations. We're all happy for you guys. Hope everyone is doing well, and I believe Spielman wants to get right out and teach this other one how to tackle right away.
Give him to me when he's 2. Turn him into a 3 technique in no time.
Congratulations, guys. Congratulations, Erica, and welcome, Mel.
Tommy Lee Lewis on the return, spins out and gets out to the 23-yard line. 17-13. Hey, see, we're all ready. We got some little ones in attendance. Third quarter, 17-13. Seahawks lead the Saints. And the first drive of this second half for New Orleans. Tim Hightower's in the backfield for the Saints.
They need to continue to be patient and methodical. Seattle wants you to be impatient on offense and make mistakes.
Hightower on the carry, got back to the line of scrimmage. Frank Clark, Bobby Wagner right there to meet him.
They told us with Frank Clark was ready to take the place and play well. And he's doing everything he's been asked to do with Michael Bennett being on the shelf. Frank Clark has been playing solid in both run defense and, of course, pass rush.
And remember,
You know he's playing well when this is a guy from Michigan and you're complimenting as much as you are.
He's bigger than that.
Breeze stepping up over the middle, completes the pass to Thomas. And Thomas, tackled by Earl Thomas, picks up 18.
Quality of a running back, not only running, but picking up the blitzes. Bobby Wagner is going to come free and watch Hightower. This is not devastating, is it? But it's just enough, Charles, to allow that man to do his work in the pocket.
Do your job and watch here. Watch Michael Thomas working inside, going where the traffic is. He understands he's going right into the middle of the pit where those linebackers are. And look at him maneuver afterwards. Showing nice footwork after the catch.
Hightower. Up to the 46, gets 4, tackled by Richard Sherman.
I don't like to do this, but I think it's an important point because he's a young player and he's such an important target for Breeze. Understanding zone and man as a receiver while the play is going on. In man coverage, you saw Michael Thomas sit it down into the soft part. So Drew trusts him that he's going to be where that ball is going to be thrown.
The Saints have scored their last 3 possessions, 2nd down and 5. Breeze. Incomplete. Maybe a little miscommunication between he and Brandon Cooks. 3rd and 5 coming up. Now the Saints today 7 for 11 on 3rd down.
And now you get all the speed pass rushers of Seattle off the bench. Frank Clark, who normally plays defensive end, he moves inside the defensive tackle now. See him right in there, and he does a good job rushing inside. Similar to what Michael Bennett does, who's not playing today with a knee injury.
Pressure coming, the pass is incomplete. Here comes a flag, the pass intended for Thomas. Deshaun Shedd was the one on the coverage.
Yeah, full speed, it looked like pretty good to me because I love guys in corners that are physical at the line of scrimmage.
Trust their eyes.
That's what Seahawks do best.
Before the pass was thrown, holding defense number 35. The 5-yard penalty from the previous spot, automatic 1st down.
But if he grabbed him, then he's guilty.
Let's take a look. Shedd number 35 in white working against Thomas. Right there, impedes it a little bit.
There's no holding there.
I mean, to me, he had him in the 5-yard zone, you know. But if the ball's in the air, that's probably where they got him. But he trusted his eyes. He trusted his technique. He was right there. That's that's a tough call.
Holding though.
I mean, the Seattle coaches will not be upset with him with that.
Flea flicker. Breeze completes it. Coleman. 41 yards all the way down to the 11.
So if you run the ball consistently on 1st down, which the Saints have been doing all game, this sets up beautifully for Coleman, who's working inside, going like he's going to crackback block. You saw Richard Sherman? Richard Sherman's an aggressive player. He got sold on that little crackback block, allowed Coleman to go deep.
And now the handoff to Hightower.
You'll see the route. Now watch Richard Sherman too. Will come into your picture, but here's Coleman. Now he's going to run the route. Now Richard Sherman will come in because he's going to fake like he's crackbacking right there. See Sherman jump inside because he's thinking run off of that. And he had to hold up for that ball just a little bit, which allowed Sherman to recover.
Really well designed, but as you noted, off of run game. And they've run it well enough, effectively enough that you have to honor it.
2nd down and 8. And a flag is thrown.
False start offense, number 65. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
And that's the first penalty against New Orleans today, correct?
Yes, the first penalty against New Orleans today.
So if this is basketball, coaches have been working these. How many against us versus them? How many against us versus them? They always bring that type of a stat up. First one today. You see 8 against Seattle, 1 against New Orleans. Clean game for the Saints so far.
Now 2nd down and 13. Breeze Finds Fleener. Fleener just short of the end zone. Richard Sherman, Kelsey McCray.
Defend every inch of grass. This is, first of all, conceptually, this is an outstanding play because Michael Thomas is going to bring Richard Sherman inside with him. Watch this, which allows Fleener to come and hit this vacated area. This is such a well-drawn play. And here comes Fleener in that open area, and it's an easy pitch and catch for Drew Brees, but it's all set up by vacating that area by clearing out with Thomas.
And let's see if those tackles by Sherman and Kelsey McCray pay off for Seattle as they did against Arizona, where they held them out of the end zone. Let's see how difficult they can make it on New Orleans if New Orleans can solve them.
First and goal from the 1. Hightower. Second effort. And Hightower gets stuffed. Kelsey McCray, who with special teams last week played 108 snaps, and he comes up to make the initial stop.
Right here. He's playing on a sore knee as Armstead, and anytime you get driven back as an offensive tackle, and I don't know why he's not firing off the ball, but pass setting, that's a problem. Well, that is a big problem.
You mentioned the knee, right?
Yeah.
Well, you notice he couldn't really bend on that play.
And I give that kid
and
credit.
There was the leverage. He's out there trying his hardest on an injured leg.
But you still got to execute.
Brees. Incomplete for Hightower. Third and goal coming up. Remember, before the half, it was a quarterback sneak, a keeper over the top for Drew Brees. They're facing third and goal from the 1 again.
And as this game goes on, we have it in the bank. Remember when Coleman caught the ball, fell down with nobody around him, which forced the Saints to kick a field goal and not have a first and goal.
And they're going to show heavy set again. Looks like Tim Melito, number 68, has come into the game as an extra offensive lineman. So they're going to show the heavy stuff with Kuhn at fullback as a lead blocker.
On third and goal, Hightower gets hit in the backfield by Rubin. How about the defense for Seattle? Wow, their goal line defense is phenomenal.
Well, their get off on the football is too quick for the Saints. And watch Pete. You see Pete pull around right there, which creates a vacated area.
Look at Rubin.
And Rubin just coming in and just made basically a Rubin sandwich out of the whole thing right here. But it's because of the penetration, and their get off is so much quicker.
Turkey Rubin or regular?
I thought that was original.
But this is the play right here, guys. That's the play right there, because Fleener should have walked into the end zone. They don't give up on it, make it difficult on 3 downs, and force them into a field goal attempt.
That's why they're a great defense.
A 21-yard field goal attempt is good by Will Lutz. We are back to a 1-point game here in New Orleans.
This game is sponsored by Verizon. Join the Better Network because better matters.
Back inside the Superdome here in New Orleans. The Saints offense, first time this season scoring on 4 consecutive possessions. The problem is they're still losing, and it's field goals.
It's field goals. That's it. You nailed it, Justin. Field goals, not enough touchdowns in that sequence. Sounds good with 4 for 4, but you got to put in the end zone.
Lockett again deep in his end zone, returning. And Lockett brings it out to the 24-yard line. Nate Stupar with the tackle. The St. Louis Cathedral here in New Orleans. 1-point game. At first glance, you might think, oh, it's Halloween. Richard Sherman's having some fun on the sidelines. But when you look more closely, that's not something for Halloween.
Yeah, he's trying to, he's got a hand injury, and what is that, Chris? Something cold in there to try and compress it and help that injury out.
On first down, it's C.J. Procise, and a flag comes in at the end of the run. But Seattle, a concentrated effort to keep the ball on the ground the first 2 drives of the second half.
And where are they attacking? The weakness, right? I mean, I saw this on film. You saw it on film. Everybody sees it on film. Eventually, the Saints, if they want to progress and improve defensively, you've got to be able to
Illegal
defend
block
the
in
edges.
the back by the offense, number 68. 10-yard penalty enforced from the dead ball spot. Repeat first down.
That's against the center, Justin Britt.
Yeah, and so that has nothing to do with the edge blocking, because the edge blocking is fine by obvious reasons by the name of the position, the center. He's in the middle.
Justin Britt is 3rd year now in Seattle. Began as a right tackle as a starter. moved to left guard year 2 as a starter, and now his first time ever playing center. And they really like the performance he's giving, albeit with that penalty.
Handoff up the middle for Procise. Let's go back to LA for a game break. Here's Carissa Thompson.
Thanks, Justin. Oakland at Tampa Bay. The Raiders are 4-0 on the road this year. We're all tied up at 10 when Amari Cooper receives that 34-yard pass from Derek Carr. Cooper's second of the season. Raiders lead 17-10. Justin.
And Oakland's first win of the season on the road came here against the Saints, 35-34 in week 1. Here we are now in week 8, and it's 17-16 Seattle over New Orleans.
Little Stooper out of the box.
2nd and 6. Wilson pressured, gets rid of it.
Was it just me there, Chris, or did New Orleans, no matter what they called there, when they saw that formation, did they call pressure there? Did you have a linebacker check into pressure to get after Wilson because of the formation when they split so wide?
Yeah, and also, too, it's the first time that Fant really has broken down, who's done an outstanding job because pressure came from Fant, the rookie offensive tackle / basketball player, who's been solid most of the day.
This is him here, the left tackle, Richard Fant.
3rd and 6. Seattle's 2 for 6 on 3rd downs. Tipped. Cameron Jordan. And the Saints defense does the job to get Seattle off the field.
So I love a guy that says, hey, we got to play better and make plays when it counts. Well, that's what Cameron Jordan did. And the beautiful thing about that is Gilliam tried to chop him like we preach up here in the booth.
Used his hands.
But athletic ability, protecting his knees, then being able to transition from the protection mode to jump mode. Well done, Cameron Jordan.
John Ryan on to punts. Tommy Lee Lewis back at his own 25. Fair catch made at the 29. A 43-yard punt. The defense stepping up for New Orleans. It's a 1-point game under 2 to go here in the 3rd. 1-point game, 1:51 to go here in the 3rd. The Saints have scored on 4 consecutive possessions. The question is, can they make it 5 straight? If that's the case, they'll take the lead. Daniel Lasco in the backfield here on 1st down. Gets the handoff. Lasco gets wrapped up by Kelsey McCray, who's had a nice game. Picks up 3, does Lasco.
And he's been outstanding in replacing Cam Chancellor. And he's that 8th man in the box because so many NFL teams go nickel, and that's just an extra safety. Well, the safety ends up playing linebacker, and Kelsey McCray felt like a linebacker.
Second down and 7. Breeze. Stiff arm. Thomas. And then he gets wrapped up by Deshaun Shedd after a 14-yard pickup.
He's awfully strong, isn't he? Doesn't matter whether it's Richard Sherman or Deshaun Shedd. Now, Shedd matches him physically. Shedd's about 212 pounds himself. That former safety in college as well as a corner. Lost 10 pounds coming into the season to try and get quicker. Look at the strength of Thomas, and then look at the stiff arm, the straight arm as he goes past him for extra yards.
The other point there is he turned Shedd around because Shedd was threatened by a deep route, and that's coming hard off the football, not being lazy when you're route running.
Hand off to Lasco. Lasco able to get to midfield. Picks up 2 as we're coming up under 30 seconds to go here in this 3rd quarter. Bobby Wagner with the tackle. It's amazing. The NFL, it seems like so many close games as we're moving towards the 4th quarter. What do you know?
1-score league, Justin. and they tell us that, and then the stats show it. Would we have 80 games within 1 score in the 4th quarter coming into this weekend already this season?
Cooks in motion. Will they get the play off? They do. Breeze finds his fullback, Kuhn. And Kuhn is very close to the sticks. That'll be the end of the quarter. 17-16. Seattle leading. 4th quarter coming up. Don't go anywhere.
Tomorrow, we'll debate this weekend's World Series, NFL action,
And discuss all my correct predictions.
now that would be an upset. Undisputed, weekdays 9:30 Eastern, FS1.
We're back here in New Orleans, fourth quarter, 1-point game. Seattle leading the Saints 17-16. Justin Kutcher, Charles Davis, Chris Spielman, and Holly Saunders with you here. A good one.
It's a great game. I hope they're talking about this on Undisputed when Charles and I are tuned in.
You know what I think here? It's an excellent time to show heavy set and take your shot.
Yeah.
They got the first down on that final play of the third quarter.
They got man coverage, Charles.
The handoff to Hightower, up the middle. And Hightower, the 38, picks up 4. Jaron Reed with a tackle.
No, Sean Payton had told us in our meeting with him that he really likes Daniel Lasco, and the only reason he's not getting carries was because of me, as Sean Payton said. I've got to find him some carries. But truthfully today, I think 34 is who you need to have on the field to carry you home. I think he's been the guy today for New Orleans, creating those tough yards as he runs the football.
Veteran in the fourth quarter also. There's that toss.
Yep. Hightower. Look at Hightower go. Cuts it back. Hightower. Down inside the 5. No, they're going to mark him out. Looks like at the 10.
Great players. Earl Thomas is a great player, but this is not the Earl Thomas that I know. He's going to come into your screen with Coleman getting a block and not wrap up, leave his feet, and do everything that is illegal in tackling. Left his feet, didn't run through the target, put his head down.
Never saw him.
And never saw what he could hit. And that's rare that Earl Thomas will make a fundamental error like that in a crucial point of the game.
A 28-yard run, first and goal from the 10 for New Orleans. Breeze, pump fake, comes back. Completes the pass to Willie Snead. Jeremy Lane with a tackle. And Snead is tackled at the 5. Second and goal from the 5 coming up.
Charles, every blade of grass. I mean, I love watching this part of this defense now because I've never seen a defense that does it like Seattle. I mean, they preach it, but they also are good enough to do it.
They live it, right?
Oh, I love it.
It's not. These aren't just words that they put up on the wall in the locker room. It's a mantra with these guys. They make it very difficult. We've seen it all game long, hence the number of field goals New Orleans has kicked. This is touchdown time for New Orleans. Imperative they stick it in the end zone on this drive.
Hightower's back in. They hand off to him. Hightower falling forward down to the 2. Earl Thomas with the tackle. So third and goal from the 2 is coming up.
Look, they've got Josh Hill in the backfield as a lead blocker, normally a tight end. And they also had Senio Kelemete, 65, out on the end, replacing the tight end in that set. This is why I like Hightower. He creates those dirty yards, right? With the contact, and he continues to careen forward.
You're going to throw the ball here. So if you're Seattle, you're thinking play pass first. So whatever you love to do in this type of situation, probably man coverage. Or now they have a formation to spread them out.
Breeze throwing. Pass caught. Touchdown. Brandon Cooks.
Brian Dixon, number 20, is looking for the flag. Because it's a nice little run route for offensive guys, pick route for defensive guys. Right here. Take a look. He's going to be looking for the flag right here. See? And that is offensive interference. Now, the rule is you're allowed to block 1 yard off the line of scrimmage. So I'd have to see where that block took place to be completely accurate.
Yeah, and New Orleans runs that play a lot and ran against Kansas City. Looks like they're going to go for 2 here.
Leading 22-17, New Orleans will go for 2 here with 12:24 to go. And they haven't had success running the ball up close, so you'd think they would throw it. And now empty backfield here for Breeze.
Drew can move around as well.
Breeze, little shovel pass to the tight end, Fleener, and Fleener gets stuffed. Cliff Averill there. But Brandon Cooks catches a touchdown, and the Saints have the lead, 22-17 here in the fourth.
I got that flame, so don't worry about no worries.
Today's game is sponsored by the new Volkswagen Golf All-Track, soon to be everywhere. And by Casa Modelo, home of Especial Negra, quality beer since 1925.
The rule is you're allowed to block within 1 yard of the line of scrimmage, and Snead does a great job because they're on the 2-yard line. He makes contact before they get to the goal line. That's well executed and well done, and I'm telling you right now, every NFL team should have that in their offense because it's unstoppable.
Lockett takes the knee in the end zone. You said that was great. Pete Carroll doesn't agree. His team now trailing. Pete Carroll has been hot along the sidelines throughout the entire break. His team takes over at the 25. On first down, Russell Wilson dumps it off for Lockett. And Lockett will get 8 yards on first down.
Good play call right there because to drain all the enthusiasm, fired up defense to hit him with a little play action. And also, guys, when did Jimmy Graham come alive last week, Charles? In OT, right? This is the fourth quarter. Jimmy Graham, who is a weapon, has been relatively quiet.
And don't forget, Jermaine Kearse, number 15, tends to get his biggest catches in the toughest situations.
Quick pass. And the catch by Paul Richardson for the first down.
And you notice at the end of the play, watch Paul Richardson, because a lot of people will coach you. What are you doing, young man? Catch the ball and keep getting upfield. He's taking care of the football. See him go down?
Yeah.
He wants to make sure there's no hit that pops the ball free with his team down here in the fourth quarter.
Quick point, that was between Richardson and Wilson because the offensive line was run blocking on that play.
Smoke route.
On-scene communication.
First down. Rolling out. Wilson. Look who he finds. Jermaine Kearse, just as Charles had mentioned. And that's a 17-yard completion.
And they've gone to their misdirection game. Okay? So watch Kearse, number 15 in white, left of your screen, outside of Graham, 88. Crawley with a small little chunk, and he just gets to the sideline, but it's set up by the misdirection. Russell Wilson starting one way, rolling back to his left.
That's because Crawley is not playing cover 2. He's getting nosy, and you got to be deepest and deepest, and underneath that deeper route, break on the flat.
Christian Michael on the carry. It's wrapped up by Nate Stupar for a pickup of 4. Time for a game break. Let's check in with Kurt Menefee.
All right, what we will show you is LeGarrette Blount with his leading 9th touchdown run of the season. What we won't show you is Tom Brady's already thrown 4 scores today, and they're still in the third quarter, up 38-17 over the Bills. Justin?
By the way, that over the top right there, that reminded me of Walter Payton.
There you go. Sweetness, number 34, one of the all-time greats. You're exactly right. We saw that when we were kids, didn't we?
Second down and 6. Russell Wilson. He's going to try to run. And Russell Wilson diving. As he has Craig Robertson hanging on him, able to get 4.
It's the same thing. The smoke route is Charles. They all blocked run, but Kearse wasn't on the same page with Russell Wilson. That's why you see Russell Wilson pull this ball down right there. And Russell, you don't want Russell doing this right now because he's not doing it at full capacity. Yeah, right there. I don't know if Russell didn't trust it or what.
2 for 6 on third downs today are the Seahawks. 3rd and 2. Wilson finds Baldwin down the sidelines. Got the first down out of bounds at the 22.
Man beaters are part of every offense, and anytime you see a bunch formation, guys lined up together, it creates chaos, and chaos allows a free release to the flat. See, you can't get out there, and again, Crawley getting nosy. Nothing inside for you. You're the outside defender. You're the corner. Nothing in there. Do your job. They're going after him. You got a big target on 46 right now.
Baldwin in motion on first down. Wilson throws high, incomplete. Looking for Kearse. Kenny Vaccaro there on the coverage.
Carl sees it the whole way. Did you see him in his back pedal? That's what we call cluing as a defensive back. You feel the receiver, you see him with one eye, and you see all the way back through the quarterback with the other eye, and you're able to break on him as soon as the quarterback releases the football.
8th play of the drive. The handoff to Michael. Gets up to the 20. Gets 2. Robertson with the tackle.
Good aggression by Dennis Allen. He brought a blitz because when they're moving the football and they're hitting on play action, you're allowed time to roll out and stuff. So what do you do to counter? You bring pressure to eliminate any of Russell Wilson's mobility behind the line of scrimmage, not just in front of it.
We just saw a 3rd down conversion. Now they're facing 3rd and 8, empty backfield again.
I'm still waiting for Jimmy Graham to make an appearance.
Now Procise comes in the backfield. Pressure coming. Wilson steps up, completes it to Graham. On cue.
It's just a matter of time. You know, he's too good, too strong. He's going to pull his way off the line of scrimmage right here. And that's a matchup that you'll take all day when you have Graham on the linebacker on Stupar. And Stupar tries to get physical with him. And what's Graham do? Hey, I'll just throw you a little pass rush move because I got that in me also with a little quick swim, Charles, to get to the flat.
Look at that throw, though.
Beauty.
The Stupar had good coverage. He actually had a hand in front. If that throws anywhere behind Jimmy Graham, that gets knocked away by Stupar. It's perfectly placed.
Now we're going to have a rollout to the right here. Rollout pass to the right.
1st and goal from the 5. Wilson lofting one, and he just throws this one away.
So this is where you start playing plays as a defense. So Tuka Afu's in at running back. Well, he's just off the couch from Wednesday, right? Playing with the kids and paying attention to his wife. He's not in there to run the football. He's in there to pass protect and then make sure that Russell Wilson will have time to survey the field, and he has to go outside to his right. He's an extra protector back there.
2nd and goal. Michael back in at tailback. Russell Wilson 5 for 7 on the drive.
This is Doug Baldwin territory.
Flag is thrown before the snap.
False start, offense, number 32. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
So that just kills play selection now. You go from, I can keep this defense guessing from the run pass to move it back 5, 2nd and 10. Your percentages are telling me as a coordinator, as a player, the ball's in the air. So now I call a pass defense that I like in the red zone against the Seahawks offense.
The 10th penalty against Seattle versus 1 for New Orleans. It's been a real slog for the Seahawks today.
Now C.J. Procise comes in at tailback on 2nd and goal from the 10. Wilson, pump fake, throws. Was looking for Graham, who got bumped by Von Bell.
See Graham here, going to work inside. Here's Bell back here, but I think it's going to end up being high load because you're also going to get Stupar, number 54, dropping into the coverage. Look at this. Stupar underneath, Bell over the top. Russell Wilson trying to fit it inside, not able to.
3rd and goal. Listen to this place. Wilson gets it out to Lockett, who gets wrapped up by Ken Crawley.
Beautiful job by Crawley. We've been getting on him a little bit, but here's where you eliminate thought and trying to read. Hey, you got him. It's you got him defense. You got the guy. And right there, Crawley does a great job of not looking back at the quarterback. The biggest mistake in man coverage people make is they look back at the quarterback, then the receiver starts to pull away, and Crawley with an open field tackle by wrapping his arms.
You call it you got him defense?
You got him.
We used to call it cat. I got this cat.
Hauschka made from 44 earlier, this one from 21. And it's good. 22-20 here in the 4th. New Orleans leading Seattle.
This game is sponsored by Microsoft Surface, the official tablet of the NFL.
We are having some fun here in New Orleans. 22-20. Drew Brees and the Saints leading the Seahawks The Saints looking for their 3rd win of the season. Hauschka. It'll be a touchback. Halloween weekend here in New Orleans. Drew Brees and the Saints with the ball from the 25 when we come back. Between last week's game against Arizona, today against New Orleans, the Seahawks defense has played 152 snaps. Almost 78 minutes. On first down, Brees finds Snead. Snead with some room takes it out beyond the 40, up to the 41, a 16-yard pickup. And don't forget tonight, it's World Series Game 5, a chance for the Indians to clinch their first World Series title since 1948. Coverage starts after football, only on Fox, or watch it live on Fox Sports Go.
So if you want to be Saints, you want to make a season for yourself, you see this number right there, you have to eat that by pounding the football in play action.
Hand off to Hightower. And Hightower will pick up 2 yards on first down.
I just want to make, as a defensive player on that field, Charles, you're on the sidelines challenging your offense. Eat that clock. Get physical. Win it now. Keep the ball away. That's the best defense. Don't let the team in white jerseys get the ball back.
And take care of the football.
Yes, sir.
Seattle notorious for being able to break the ball out. Already scored 1 touchdown today, being able to do that.
Great point.
There was an Earl Thomas fumble recovery for a touchdown back in the first quarter.
8-man box. Expected run.
On 2nd and 7, not a run. It's a pass, and the pass is complete to Thomas. Thomas gets wrapped up by Brock Coyle.
It's a better job by Shed, you being the XDB. This time he doesn't get his back turned or he doesn't lose sight. He's trusting his training and getting physical. See that? His eyes never turn, so he gets a much better break on the football. The last time we saw them run that play, his head was turned the other way, and he was late to recover.
He trusted his 212 pounds against Michael Thomas's 212 pounds that time. Realize he's a big corner.
A big 3rd down coming up right now. The Saints 8 for 13 today on 3rd down. Brees pumps. Brees moving in the pocket. Flag is thrown. The pass is complete to Snead, but let's see what the flag is for.
Bad spot for Seattle. Nice flag was.
10 penalties against the Seahawks today, 1 against the Saints.
That says defensive holding where that flag came into me.
And that look, when I see a DB.
Before the pass was thrown, holding, defense, number 25. That's a 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
Penalty number 11 against Seattle, and that one is a critical penalty against Richard Sherman.
Guys, when Seattle has 79 or fewer penalty yards since 2015, they're 14-2. When they have 80 or more penalty yards, they're 0-5-1.
Brees rolling out to his right. Dropped by the fullback, John Kuhn. Think about how big that penalty was, though, because it would have been 4th down.
Yep.
The offense gets the ball back after a punt. Now you extend it.
That goes back to what Chris talked about the clock, because that clock would be a lot higher for Seattle with the football. Instead, it bleeds down some more, and they have to make another stand.
Hightower trying to get outside. Bobby Wagner with a good tackle, a 5-yard run for Hightower. And now 3rd and 5 coming up once again.
Just watching Bobby Wagner beating Andrews Pete, who's an outstanding run blocker, and I love the fact that he's able to defeat blockers and not get stuck on blockers. That's why another reason why this defense is so good. None of the 11 are stuck on blockers very long.
Cooks goes in motion. Breeze finds Cooks on the slant. Cooks gets down, has the first down at the 24, a 21-yard completion.
Watch the route, because watch Willie Snead as he ends up taking out the corner, Jeremy Lane, and create the separation for Brandon Cooks.
And the only reason he's able to do that is because they will not play press cover on the slots. If you want to prevent that from happening, you have to get up and press across the board, or you're vulnerable to that attack.
The Seahawks in danger. They're trailing, and they call a timeout.
Today's game is sponsored by Dodge. Domestic, not domesticated. By Pizza Hut. No one out-pizzas the Hut. And by Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Explore a whole new era of the Wizarding World, November 18th.
A 20-yard completion to Brandon Cooks. And the Saints have it at the 24 of Seattle with 3:35 to go. Hand off to Hightower. Hightower breaks free of a couple tackles, and he's got the first down. Picks up 12, and let's go back to that previous pass to Cooks. Bring in Mike Pereira, and Mike, was there an illegal pick on that play?
Yeah, to me there is. The inside receiver goes to the outside, seeks out the defender, and picks him right there. Now, is it more than a yard? Yes, it's about a yard and a half or so. And I think Pete Carroll, who had a legitimate gripe on the touchdown pass, has got another one here.
It was a no call. Richard Sherman, he was irate about it, about the no call. Hand off to Hightower. And Hightower brings it up to the 10 for 2, and Hightower is now up over 100 yards on the day on the ground with 102. And Seattle calls a timeout to stop the clock. New Orleans at the 10, leading by 2. Russell Wilson hoping he gets a chance to bring his team back. The question is, when he gets the ball back, how much time will he have and how much will his team be down by?
But you know Russell Wilson, all he says is, we just want an opportunity to win the game. Just give us a chance to win the game. He lives in the moment. You never count him out.
2nd down and 8. Breeze dumps it off to Hightower. Kelsey McCray tackles him. Let's go back to that critical holding call against Richard Sherman on 3rd down.
Now, the rule is, as I read it, if there's jersey being stretched, then it's holding. Right there, that's holding. Whether you like it or not, I don't like it. I think it's ticky-tack. But by letter of the law, the rule is it's holding. Just like on the goal line, he was allowed to block. Where Pete did not have an argument on the goal line, he might have had an argument on that last big play with Willie Snead.
And Seattle just called its final timeout. Tim Hightower with 102 yards, the 3rd 100-yard rusher against the Seattle defense this season. And this drive, guys, 10th play of the drive coming up. 4:06 off the clock on this drive.
Saints have 123 yards rushing. Now, how dangerous would this offense be? If they're balanced like that, they're already pretty good.
Came into the game averaging 82 yards on the ground. It's a mammoth day for Seattle. Excuse me, for New Orleans.
3rd and 8. It's Cadet in the backfield. Breeze. He gets sacked by Cliff Averill. And the important thing there is he took care of the ball.
With Averill coming off, and it's a nice little TE game. That's a pick. You're allowed to pick in there.
Tackle and end TE game.
Thank you. It's a pick, other words, people.
A field goal attempt coming up for New Orleans after this.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Lowe's.
Will Lutz has made 3 so far today. This one from 36. And there is a flag before the kick.
They jumped. Saints jumped inside when you saw the Seahawks defensive linemen adjust. So you get anxious as a field goal protector when you're in that middle because you don't want to give up your gap because most kicks are blocked from the inside. They got antsy.
And Bobby Wagner jumped over the center twice against Arizona, blocked one and affected a second one. So you know they've had to work on that.
Before the ball was snapped, false start, offense, the right guard, 5-yard penalty.
And it was created by the shift of the Seahawk defensive. Right there, you see that?
Yeah, two of them moving there. Well, we saw in the highlights Washington when they got iced by Marvin Lewis. He missed the second one. Could this be a form of icing for Seattle?
And this is big. If he makes it, Seattle has to score a touchdown. If he misses, all they need is a field goal. From 41 for Lutz. They have to score a touchdown. He's 4 for 4 on the day. It's 25-20. New Orleans over Seattle here in the fourth. The Saints offense has been able to move the ball all day. They've scored on their last 6 possessions against Seattle. They lead by 5 under 2 minutes to go, no timeouts remaining. And guys, we've been talking about it. Russell Wilson said to us, all he wants at the end of the day is a chance. He's got a chance.
So defend every blade of grass. That's just not for the defense. It's for the offense. The Seahawks are champions, and I'm telling you, champions die hard.
And look, New Orleans has played a terrific game today, but they have left an opening here for Seattle. So if you just out of hand say that New Orleans has this game, you haven't watched Seattle over the years. Remember, they had 130 yards in regulation at Arizona, well over 100 in overtime to continue to fight. So let's see how this one goes down the stretch.
Lockett. Tyler Lockett, the dangerous return man, takes it out to the 32. A 27-yard return. And let's check in with Carissa for a quick game break.
Thanks, Justin. You guys got a good game there. We're expecting a good game here. America's game of the week, Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers on the road in Atlanta. Matt Ryan looking to get his team back on track after dropping their last 2. It's all coming up next. Justin?
All right, thanks, Carissa. Well, here we have it. Russell Wilson and the Seahawks. No timeouts remaining. They start at the 32. They need the touchdown.
And if New Orleans really wants to show that defense is starting to make a change, here's your opportunity. Shut down Seattle here.
We now welcome those of you who are just watching the Houston-Detroit game. Russell Wilson stepping up, and he slides. Marked down at the 36. Craig Robertson gets credit for the tackle.
So, and now if I'm the Saints, it's common sense defense. I know everybody hates it at home. Why didn't they play prevent? Nothing over your head. You're not defending against a field goal. You're defending against 6 points.
2 deep zone. Play it underneath.
Wilson dumps it off to Procise. A dangerous receiver out of the backfield up to the 49. A 15-yard pickup. Kenny Vaccaro with the tackle. The clock moves, 1:15.
I think you'll see a lot of 2 safety look back here to make sure if anyone breaks free, you have coverage for people back deep in case they have to chase someone down.
These guys need depth also, Charles.
Wilson completes the pass to Doug Baldwin, who gets wrapped up by Jarris Byrd.
That's a big-time tackle because the clock kept running. He kept him in bounds.
45 seconds. Wilson, pressure, gets rid of it. The pressure came from Cameron Jordan.
That's a miscommunication in protection. That's on Russell Wilson. These guys are all sliding this way. You don't run into the slide. He makes Cameron Jordan's job too easy. See that? He cannot roll out there. He's got to step up into the pocket and make a play.
And it looks like, is it Justin Britt? The center has been hurt and is out of the game. So he's got a backup in, and you're always worried about quarterback-center exchanges. That would be Joey Hunt, the rookie out of TCU, who was a 4-year starter there.
3rd and 6. Wilson finds Baldwin. Baldwin breaks free and gets tackled now from behind inside inside the 20 at the 18. A 27-yard completion. Crawley brings him down. Wilson wants to spike it. He does just that with 16 seconds to go.
They're in that bunch formation, and while you're tight on these guys in this situation, I don't know, it's dumb because you're vulnerable to the pick routes. You see that? You're vulnerable to the pick routes. In this type of situation, get off the ball and defend the field. Make them catch it underneath. Don't be up there pressing in this type of situation.
And look who he went to in the key situation. Doug Baldwin comes alive late. Let's see what New Orleans has here. You think Dennis Allen brings pressure here? Think he brings pressure, or is he going to sit back in the zone?
Oh, I think you have to sit back, Charles. You defend the goal line. That's what I do.
That's where you are.
Timeout taken here by New Orleans, their first timeout.
But I just want to go back to it because I think it's an important point. In that type of situation, why are you being up close in the bunch route? Because when you're in a bunch route and your defenders are up close, the bunch is to defeat that type of defense. So that's why you back off so you're not vulnerable to getting picked. And you have Baldwin running free in the middle of the field.
That's the point. The bunch defeats it by knocking people off. It's like pinballs. It's like a bowling ball scattering pins when you come out of that bunch and knock defenders off of your routes. The only reason I brought up pressure there is you don't want to let Russell Wilson just sit back there. I think you want to force the issue with maybe one more guy. And I'll guarantee you Sean Payton was asking him to put some pressure on. That's what he likes. And Justin Britt is back in the game at center.
Procise is the tailback. Second down and 10. 16 seconds left. Wilson stepping up. Gets it to Procise. And now the question is, can they get the play off? Wilson spikes it with 2 seconds. It all comes down to this. 2 seconds to go. And Seattle has one play left.
Now, the question again, do you bring pressure? My answer is no. My answer is you defend that goal line. 8 guys across, 7 guys across, nothing behind you.
I want to see if they go with any type of a formation that gives Jimmy Graham a chance to be by himself, but it doesn't appear that they are. Graham's going to be on the line of scrimmage.
Last play of the game.
Throw it to the goalpost. If you're going for Graham, he's going to the middle of the field or a flag or 7 cut. Flag route.
Wilson. Back corner of the end zone. Jump ball. Incomplete. Kearse could not come down with it. Inbounds. And the Saints win it. The NFL, the league where it always comes down to the final play, and this time it goes away for the Saints.
And watch B.W. Webb, who they picked up this season. B.W. is on his 4th team. All right, he was in Tennessee in preseason, guys. And look at him see the ball. And even though Kearse has a little push at the end, he had done such a nice job of bodying him up. He did not leave him room to come down with both feet to complete the touchdown catch.
Plus the ball was just a tad late, so it carried Kearse to the back of the end zone, which did also not give him time to come down with both feet.
Nice job by Webb filling in for Dalvin Breaux, who's been hurt since the season opener.
What a game here in New Orleans. The Saints win it 25-20 over Seattle. Now let's go to Kurt Menefee for the State Farm Game Break Show.